Picture this. You're lying in bed, the room is dark, and suddenly a thought creeps in, one you've tried to ignore your whole life. What happens when I die? Is it just nothing? A switch flipped off forever? Or is there something waiting on the other side, something you can't yet remember, but that you've known all along? For most of human history, that question has been answered by faith, by religion, by hope. But what if there was evidence? What if thousands of people, under deep hypnosis, all described the same journey, the same places, the same beings, the same process? What if death wasn't the end of your story, but the intermission? Her name was Dolores Cannon, and she never set out to become a cartographer of the afterlife. Born in 1931, Dolores started as a simple hypnotherapist in the 1960s, helping people quit smoking and lose weight. But in 1968, something happened that would change everything. During a routine session, a patient unexpectedly slipped into what appeared to be a past life, describing herself as a flapper in 1920s Chicago with shocking detail. Dolores didn't dismiss it, she leaned in. Over the next 45 years, she would conduct thousands of hypnosis sessions using her proprietary technique called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. She reached what she called the somnambulistic state, a deep trance where the conscious mind steps aside and something much older, much wiser, speaks through. She called it the subconscious. Others call it the higher self, the oversoul, the part of you that knows everything. And what these sessions revealed was stunning. Hundreds of people, from CEOs to housewives, various people around the world, all of whom had never met, all reported the same memories, the same experience of death, the same spirit realm, the same life review, the same process of rebirth. Dolores Cannon had stumbled upon a map of the unseen world, and what she found challenges everything we think we know about life, death, and why we're here. So let's start where it all begins to make sense, at the moment of death. In Dolores Cannon's research, death is not what we've been taught to fear. There's no judgment, no punishment, no terrifying void. Instead, it's described as relief. One of her subjects put it simply, the body is like a suit of clothes. You don't cry when you throw away an old, worn-out suit. At the moment of death, the soul gently detaches from the physical body. The heavy density falls away. And what remains is pure consciousness, light, free, unburdened. Many describe watching their own body from above, feeling nothing but peace. Sometimes they linger, attending their own funeral, confused by the grief of those left behind. Why are they crying, the soul wonders. I feel wonderful. And then, the light, the famous tunnel, the warm, brilliant glow. It's not just folklore or hallucination. In Cannon's research, it's a dimensional threshold, a passage between worlds. And waiting on the other side? Loved ones. Guides, friends, a grandmother who passed years ago, a spouse, a child. Not as ghosts, but as radiant beings of light, wearing familiar faces to ease the transition. Cannon's subjects describe being greeted with unconditional love. The fear dissolves, the confusion fades, and the soul realizes, I'm going home. As Dolores herself wrote, the other side is a place of unconditional love where no one is judged, no matter what the circumstances of their life have been. When they leave their earthly body, they are simply going home. But what is this place? According to Cannon's work, the spirit world is not a static heaven. It's not harps and clouds and eternal rest. It's a university, a vast, multi-dimensional learning environment where souls go to heal, to study, to prepare. Dolores described it as having different levels, like floors in a building, each vibrating at a different frequency. The newly arrived might rest in lush, peaceful landscapes. Advanced souls might exist in realms of pure light and geometry. And within this world are specific locations that appear again and again in her sessions. The Temple of Healing, where souls repair emotional and energetic wounds from their last life, bathed in colored lights and sound frequencies. The Great Library, housing the Akashic records, the cosmic database of every soul's journey through time. Here, souls study their past lives to understand patterns and lessons. The schools, where souls attend classes on energy manipulation, creation, and consciousness. They learn how to manifest matter with thought. But perhaps the most important place is the council chamber. This is where the soul meets the council of elders. These beings are often described as wise, robed figures sitting at a long table, though subjects quickly realize these are just comforting forms. In truth, they are blinding beings of light. They are not judges, they are teachers, academic advisors, and they are there for one purpose: to help you understand the life you just lived. The Life Review. This is the moment of truth. According to Cannon's findings, every soul undergoes this process. It's not a judgment by God, it's something far more profound. You judge yourself. The soul replays its entire life, every moment, every choice, every word, but not from its own perspective. It experiences the life from everyone else's point of view. If you were a bully, you don't just watch yourself bully someone. You feel what the victim felt, the fear, the shame, the pain. If you were kind, you feel the warmth your kindness created, the gratitude, the ripples of love you sent into the world. Cannon's research emphasizes that this review is done with total compassion. There's no guilt, no shame, only understanding. The Council of Elders ask gentle questions. Did you learn to love? Why did you choose anger in that moment? What lesson were you trying to master? And here's the key. The soul is never punished. Because the elders know something the soul is about to remember, you chose all of it. This is where it gets wild. Before you were born, you sat in a room, not a physical room, but a space beyond time. And you planned this life. You chose your parents. You chose your body. You chose your challenges, your gifts, your major relationships. You wrote a soul contract. Cannon's subjects describe a process she calls life selection. The soul, guided by its teachers and the council, reviews potential lives like choosing a course catalog. It asks, what do I need to learn? What karma needs balancing? What gifts do I want to develop? And then it builds a curriculum. A difficult childhood, chosen to learn independence or resilience. A physical disability, often chosen to focus on inner development or to teach others compassion. A toxic relationship, agreed upon by both souls involved, playing roles for each other's growth. As Dolores explained, we must never forget that we chose to be here, and we are here for a reason. Even the people who hurt you? According to Cannon's findings, they're often part of your soul group, a traveling theater company of souls who incarnate together, playing different roles across lifetimes. The enemy in this life might have been your beloved spouse in the last. You agreed to these roles. You signed the contract. Because Earth, in Dolores Cannon's cosmology, is not random. It's a school. Earth is the hardest school in the universe, she often said. Only the bravest souls sign up. And this is where everything shifts. If you chose your life, if you chose your parents, your challenges, your pain, then what does that mean? It means there are no victims. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about dismissing suffering. It's not about telling someone in pain that they asked for it. That would be cruel. But from the soul's perspective, from the view of eternity, every experience is chosen for growth. The abuse you endured, not random cruelty, but a lesson in boundaries or self-worth that your soul decided it needed to master. The betrayal you suffered, a role someone in your soul family agreed to play so you could learn forgiveness or discernment. Even suicide, which Cannon addresses with compassion, is seen not as sin, but as breaking the contract early. The soul must return and face the same lesson again, because the curriculum wasn't completed. As one of her subjects explained, apparently when we enter the Earth existence, we exist with a facade as actors playing various roles. You are not your trauma. You are not your body. You are not even your personality. You are an eternal soul, temporarily inhabiting a dense reality for the purpose of remembering who you really are. And the challenges? They're not punishments, they're puzzles. Dolores Cannon's work suggests that the entire human experience, birth, suffering, love, death, is a grand play. A simulation, a game. And when the game ends, you take off the costume, laugh with your fellow actors, and say, "Wow, that was intense. Let's do it again." So the soul rests. It heals, it reviews, it plans, and then, when it's ready, it returns. Cannon's research describes the soul entering a new body, sometimes before birth, sometimes during, sometimes shortly after. It carries with it a vague sense of its mission, buried deep in the subconscious. And the veil of forgetfulness descends. Because if you remembered everything, if you knew it was all a game, you wouldn't play with the necessary intensity. You wouldn't feel the lessons, you wouldn't grow. So you forget, but not completely. Somewhere inside you, there's a whisper, a knowing, a sense that there's more to this than meets the eye. And maybe that's why you're watching this video. Dolores Cannon spent 45 years documenting the unseen world. She didn't claim to have all the answers. She simply reported what thousands of souls told her when the conscious mind was out of the way. And the message is this: you are not a random accident in an indifferent universe. You are an eternal being on a journey of learning and love. Every challenge is a lesson, every person a teacher, every moment a gift, even the painful ones. As Dolores once said, when the time comes, the journey toward the brilliant white light will not hold as much fear as it once would have. For in my study of death, I have found the celebration of life. Death is not the end. It's the moment you remember who you've always been. And perhaps the real question isn't, what happens when I die? But rather, what did I come here to learn? If this resonated with you, subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of consciousness, purpose, and the unseen architecture of reality. Because the journey doesn't end here. It never does.